Mattel is launching the first Barbie doll with Down syndrome. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. This is part of their line of inclusive and diverse dolls. They've done this before with other disabilities, a Barbie in a wheelchair, for instance. They've changed Barbies so that they have different builds, like there are plus-size Barbies, different races, all that type of stuff. And generally, we're on the same page where we just think this is performative woke marketing, right?
Yeah.
But now I see some conservatives are actually, and just people who are critical of wokeness in general, are in favor of this one. Yeah. And I just wanted to, like, let's just show the ad for it first, so you get the picture. It's not
the what ad?
The AP posted it.
I don't think I have that.
Yeah, I sent it to you. It's a tweet.
I only have the thing from The Guardian here. The Guardian and Yahoo Life.
It's on Slack.
Okay, hold on. I don't think I have that one. Oh, yes. No, never mind. I do. That was okay. Hold on. There we go.
Barbie, qui est une très 2021. Je trouve qu'elle a sa place parmi toutes les Barbies.
Sorry if you're listening and you can't read the subtitles.
Et je connais mon expérience et on peut vivre heureux avec.
Barbie can play an important role in a child's early experiences. And we're dedicated to combating social stigma and enabling all children to see themselves in Barbie, as well as have a Barbie that reflects the world around them.
Is there something inherent to the doll that is noticeable that makes it that somebody would be able to recognize?
So like
that makes it.
Yeah, there's a lineup of it over on the Guardian article where it puts them side by side. She has like the leg braces and has like I think the what is it? Different hairline or maybe different jawline. Yeah.
They like changed the jawline. They gave the eyes an upward slant, which is a characteristic.
There's something to be said that they put more. It's not like they just slapped a new label on it.
They also they made this doll shorter but with a longer torso. They said that was part of the change. And there are I looked into this before the show because I wasn't sure. There are a lot of medical issues that people with Down syndrome are prone to, so it's not just how you look. They have like oftentimes epilepsy, blood disorders, sleep disorders, dental and digestive issues, like a long list of things. They have like weakened immune systems and stuff like that, so a lot of things that you don't see on first glance.
Yes.
But there have been other examples of this. For instance, like models with Down syndrome. There was a Victoria's Secret model recently debuted who has Down syndrome, which was incredibly controversial because is someone with a cognitive disability able to consent to modeling lingerie, which is inherently something that is sexualized? I don't like the woke overtures in that direction either.
And I asked the chat if they thought that this was. I said,
I knew there'd be a lot of mixed opinions here.
So it says, do you support Mattel launching a Barbie with Down syndrome? And it's 61% in favor and 39% not in favor. So it's pretty split.
They also think we need a Brett Barbie.
That's yes, yeah. That's what we need.
We need a short king, Ken.
Yes, can have two different color eyes.
Yeah, heterochromia Ken.
That's a fantastic.
Where are we getting that?
It's a fantastic idea.
So yeah, obviously some mixed reactions here. I wanted to read Matt Walsh's take. This was interesting.
Yep.
He said, I know some conservatives are calling this woke, but I don't see it that way. It's pro-life. The left is exterminating Down syndrome children. They are the victims of an actual eugenics campaign. This is one case where inclusion and representation actually is important. Obviously, Mattel didn't intend for this to be pro-life, but we should embrace it that way. Take a cultural win, even if it wasn't supposed to be a cultural win for us.
I mean, I think it's really just, when it comes down to it, never ever expect a corporation to act like a human being. They want to make money, and they see this as a market they can fill.
Yeah, I wonder if they go unsold, how long will Barbie or Mattel take a loss on this if it's not actually doing what they want?
It'll be fantastic for their social score, for their social credit score,
Well,
for
I
their
think
ESG score.
I think that it is going to sell well. Only
It's already
because,
selling out. Yes,
yeah,
they said.
because there are so many parents of kids with Down syndrome out there who want to buy this doll for them, and it feels like it's the right thing to do. But I was questioning it because I think here's this perspective. Barbie is supposed to be an aspirational fantasy of adult life for little girls, someone who has no problems. Like, she literally has no problems. She looks perfect, has the perfect boyfriend, has the perfect house, the perfect car. She's beautiful. Her friends are perfect. And you don't need to complicate it any more than that. You don't need to make it representative of anyone's real life, because that doesn't represent anyone's real life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a fantasy that she lives in. And even if she couldn't, anatomically exist in the real world, it doesn't matter, because she is a fictitious person. So the idea that you need to other a child with a disability more than they already are socially by giving them even a different doll than their friends have.
You think it would be better for them to have the same dolls as everyone else?
Why do you need to
integrates them
make a
more.
kid more conscious of the fact that they're different from other kids?
Yeah.
And it is also a denial of the reality that having Down syndrome is a defect. It is something that is wrong with the person and comes with all sorts of different medical complications and social complications that obviously shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be treated differently for having it. Yeah. But it is something that's wrong with you, you know?
Because like none of the girls that play with Barbie dolls look like Barbie. So
no.
Does the woman with Down syndrome or the girl with Down syndrome, is she actually going to prefer the Down syndrome doll? Like it's a false equivalency, but I don't remember myself being a kid and being like, I want to play with action figures, but I will not play with an action figure until they're a skinny Asian guy with like weird hair. Like everybody plays with a big buff like Spider-Man toy because that's just the fantasy of action figures. I don't know if there is a demand for saying, why don't we make them look less ideal?
Why would you want to be more like the doll when the doll is supposed to be a fantasy to you rather than, like I said, G.I. Joes. I didn't look anything like G.I. Joes, believe it or not, when I was a kid. But we've had this discussion before about men and women experience these things differently. How men see themselves as characters and how women see themselves as characters are different. But like you said, if she's pretending to be Barbie, why wouldn't she want to pretend to be aspirational rather than to be something that's already like how she is? I do want to give them a lot of credit for not just being thoughtless and just slapping a label on it. They clearly did their research. They looked into what would the conditions be. They spoke to experts in the field, and there's something to be said about that. And I think there is a fair message to be made that in a society that seems to be increasingly pushing towards
literal eugenics, and I'm not going to deny that for a second. There is a eugenics campaign against people with Down syndrome, no doubt about it. As I was saying earlier, in Iceland, they claim to have eradicated Down syndrome in their country. It's not because they suddenly found a cure for Down syndrome. It's because they are eliminating them in the womb. Yeah. And that is a eugenics campaign. And it should be opposed, of course. But is a solution to this creating a doll that looks like she has Down syndrome? Who is this actually helping? This is clearly something that makes adults feel good about themselves.
Yeah, it's more about
something that kids have been asking for.
It's more about the parents being able to buy this for their child than it is perhaps about the child actually wanting this particular Barbie.
Is Mattel willing to come out and speak out against the eugenics campaign against Down syndrome people? No, they're not. They will never do that. Yeah. This is purely a performative gesture, and it doesn't help anybody.
I mean, I see this as just kind of the extension of where we would go as markets, as these companies try to find ways to distinguish themselves and find new markets to fill. It's the myth of the phantom new audience that everyone's always looking for. A company gets big and they want to keep growing, right? You have to constantly expand, and eventually you've reached such a point in the market, there's nowhere else to expand, so you have to find more creative ways to do that. And it's who decides what conditions are okay? Like they've put people in wheelchair, they've put Barbie in a wheelchair and all these things. Do you think that people want these dolls? Did they sell? I don't know.
Did Down syndrome kids ask, hey, why doesn't Barbie look like me? No, they're not self-conscious in the ways that adults are conscious of their differences.
Yeah.
That's the point. You don't call it to their attention that they are different from everyone else. You just treat them like a person. It's not that complicated.
Well, you can't make 9,000 variations of just a person Barbie, unfortunately.
It's like I was saying just yesterday, right? That we have Karens, diversity Karens, running Hollywood and running like all of the entertainment industry, including toys and entertainment for kids, that are, paying special attention to all of their kids, but with a little favoritism towards the one that can't read or write or do basic math. Yeah. And that's overlaid onto all of society. But it really is dehumanizing people with disabilities even more, in my opinion.
Like, I wonder if it's a thing where, like, I got pretty lucky, like, being born, like, I was born deaf in one ear, and I was born with a heart condition. But it's not like that was anything outward that was going to affect, the hearing thing actually does affect me, because like I tend to be like, I'm a person, like if I'm in a room of people, I tend to either talk too loud or too quiet as a result of not being able to hear out of one ear. But it's not like it's something, I wouldn't have wanted people drawing more attention to it. It would have just made me uncomfortable to have it focused on more, like there was, I had options in school, right, where they could either put you in the front of the class, like they would always either put you in the front of the class and on a certain side so that your good ear's facing the teacher when she talks, or they could have the teacher wear like an audio set, like wear like a head, like with a speaker. And I didn't want them doing that because people are like, why is this teacher doing that? And then they're going to explain like, it's because somebody in this class can't hear. So like, I don't care enough about, like, I didn't want that to be a thing. I would rather have just been like discreetly like, place me in the front of the class. I'll sit here. That's fine. That's my own problem to deal with. I wouldn't want to sit there and focus on it. Obviously, I'm talking about something that's vastly different. It's my only. It's the only analog I can compare to myself because I'm trying to find some middle ground here.
But it's like, that kids are mean. I can only imagine the girls in the schoolyard having this lineup of 5 Barbies and one of them being Down syndrome Barbie, and who's getting the Down syndrome Barbie, it's going to be seen as a bad thing, even amongst them. So
because
it's almost
kids are cruel.
Kids are cruel, and they're very honest about these things. So it's like to placate the, participation trophy of some executive in Mattel saying, "Oh, look, I did this great thing. We're so on the cutting edge of being nice to everybody." They're actually going to make it very tough, life harder for certain people.
Like
they're actually
first,
consuming it.
It's interesting because at first you seemed to think that this was a positive thing when we began talking about it. But do you think maybe it's not? I don't know.
I see it as just anything else that's virtue signaling, and I would be very curious to know if Mattel would continuously take a loss at making their diversity and inclusion.
They will. They'll happily take the loss because it's good for their stock price.
But I mean, I feel like if I went to a toy store right now, they did wheelchair Barbie at one point in time. They did it as a one-off, but are they still stocking the shelves with wheelchair Barbie, or did that kind of run its cycle?
They did the body diversity thing. That's still a thing. But it's like, even when they did that, the reason that Barbie is this 6 foot tall, skinny blonde chick with
she really 6 feet tall?
I mean, whatever she is.
No, her neck is like twice the length of any real neck.
That is anatomically impossible and has a dream house and a pink Bugatti.
That's what the Andrew Tate Barbie
No
needs.
one was ever going to feel represented by that, and that's fine. It's supposed to be for fantasy, for kids to play with. They know that that's not real life.
Then maybe that's just our obsession with narcissism now.
Why are adults projecting what they feel onto children? I don't like that.
You can monetize social pressure though, because if you don't go out there, if you bought the wheelchair Barbie and you don't buy the Down syndrome Barbie, it's like, what are you, a bad person? You support that one but not the other one, so you're almost compelled to do it. But I guess to answer your question on saying like me changing my mind on it, genuinely feel like I have, because I thought seeing Barbie initially being like, oh yeah, you're Down syndrome Barbie. I've known people with Down syndrome, so I feel like, oh yeah, they could probably feel more in line with it. But when you actually kind of think of it critically, it was like, wait, this is some ideal scenario they put in some one ad where they have a person that's being paid to, fawn over the Barbie that looks like them. But I just think that, other than in the marketing agency, if you just had it with regular people with that with Down syndrome, I don't see them, like, there's no practicality of this.
I don't think that kids with Down syndrome see themselves as that different from everyone else. But when you make them hyper aware of their differences, that's not good for their development.
Yeah.
I wonder what Doll Click is in the chat today. I wonder what Doll Click's take on this is. Doll Click says dolls have been around for eternity. I feel like Doll Click thoughts on this. I haven't been able to follow the chat super closely. I would like to know what somebody who is a doll maker thinks of this situation. I just see it as an extension of, like, look, these are companies that need to make money and that want to make money, and they're looking for markets to fill. And
it's working, but it's because you're selling it to adults. Let's be honest.
I don't know how many of the kids, like, maybe they do. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't have the condition, so I wouldn't be able to tell how.
Down syndrome kids don't think like, I'm different because I have Down syndrome. They just think I'm a kid. Yes. They're just living their lives and being kids, and we need to just let kids be kids. That's how I feel.
Adults can't seem to leave the kids alone these days.
Yeah, and it's like crazy that in a time when it's normalized to literally murder people for having Down syndrome, that's my opinion at least, that is when we harp most on it not being something that's wrong with them. Like, really? The double talk is what gets me. Saying, we've got a super chat from CK. I'm confused why we're losing focus on idealism. Barbie, superheroes, etc. are meant to present an ideal to shoot for. We can argue if a particular ideal is healthy, but there's nothing wrong with aspiring to a positive model. This
is why men and women experience superheroes differently. Men see superheroes and they think,
Thank you.
Like, men see superheroes and they're like, holy crap, look at this buff dude saving the world.
Yes. Right? So unserious.
Yes.
Let's not take a fucking minute.
Let's go again. See, he was making a Terminator movie when he did that. So, like, when men see superheroes, it's aspirational. They want to be like that guy, and they aspire to it. When women, now I'm not saying all women, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, women see superheroes that are the peak of physical fitness, and they go, oh my God, those are unrealistic beauty standards.
Well, yeah, it's like I'd never looked at the Hulk doll and be like, my God, that's super unrealistic. Yeah. I'm never gonna be green with delts like that.
Or not even him, but even somebody like Batman, who in the peak of physical fitness, who doesn't have any superpowers, right? Yeah. Or Captain America, who's got super serum and is buff and he's chiseled. And guys are like, I wish I could look like that. I'm gonna go to the gym. I wish, like, in his dreams he could save the world.
Like, ideals are supposed to be unattainable by nature.
Yeah.
That's what we're not realizing.
So the doll is not an ideal. The doll is just a sad reflection, a sad corporate reflection of reality.
Why do we need to lie to ourselves and say that disabilities are actually superpowers? They make people's lives harder. That's a fact.
I mean, that's why marketing.
Exactly. Like, that's why we need to accept, first and foremost, that this thing does make someone's life harder, and there should be, accommodations for that because of that. Like, if it were a superpower, I don't think they would need our help with anything, Yeah. Like, that's I don't like the cognitive dissonance about that, and, like, why would we need to frame it that way to treat them like they're fully human and have human dignity? Like, they have dignity regardless of whether something is wrong with them. That's how we need to view it.
I'm going to read Doll Click's responses. So Doll Click says, dolls can be anything, not just fantasy. You can make of it what you want. Dolls have been around in many ways forever. And then goes on, I think if you're not into dolls, you don't get some magical part of it that's hard to explain. That's hard to explain. So it's like, I actually get that, because I think, like, for a lot of people, like, like me with skating, it's very hard to explain what about that sport matters to me to someone that doesn't do it, right? So I think that would be true of a lot of things in any subculture.
Well, dolls in general, sure, they don't have to be a fantasy, but we're talking about Barbie right now, like in the brand that it's built up.
$20 one right there.
Honest Adams Discount Warehouse.
I like that name.
Hi, Marianne Brett. Since you are now friends with Ethan Van Sciver, maybe you could get his brother Noah on. He is a great comic artist, more in tune with Bib Crumb. What does that mean?
Hilarious.
He is hilarious and would be a great guest.
That would be cool.
We'll look into that.
That would
Thank
be cool.
you for the suggestion.
I actually I went into Ethan's stream the other day and donated, like, and super chatted and just said hi.
Nice.
Like I don't even remember what they were talking about like that day.
If there are any other suggestions for who you guys want on the show, please send them anywhere you'd like. We're always looking to reach out to people.
Yes, we want more people to come here, and like I think we take for granted sometimes, like, because we talk about these things every day, like, and then some people come in and they're like, oh my God, what is going on in the world? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, holy crap. Like just like I'm sure a lot of people, like, if people went and like did a deep dive into the stuff you cover, they're going to be like, oh my God, this stuff's going on in the world.
Yeah, I always like getting international commenters, people from like not in the country. Like, I had no idea this is what was happening over in the U.S. right now.
Because they have a very limited view of what we do, or of what they see of America.
They see Hollywood and reality TV, and they think it's just kind of a representation of it, and it just, to some extent, it is, but not the entirety.
Do you have like a large audience from outside the U.S.?
No, I think it's predominant. Like, I think it's 80% U.S.
It would
viewers.
make more sense.
But then, like, comments that would stick out to me when I see it, it's like, oh, I'm from Berlin, or I'm from Australia, and I didn't realize this was over there. So
yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, for me, I think it's one of those things that it's interesting that you can reach people. Like, that's the cool thing about these, like, that you can reach people and talk to people about stuff from all over the world, about issues that are not just pertaining to you or you. Like, Dylan Mulvaney is an extremely American issue right now.
Yes.
It feels like to me, like maybe it's a sign of, you know, cultural problems that go farther than America. But Dylan Mulvaney is a very American issue. Barbie is a worldwide brand, right? Barbie is not just America.
That's true.
Is that true?
I mean, it's based on an American girl who really existed.
Believe it or not, I didn't play with Barbies growing up, so I don't know anything about, like, but G.I. Joe is a worldwide brand, but it was real American heroes.
But would you think that Dylan Mulvaney is a artificially American issue due to Chinese algorithms and TikTok? Because they have had several attempts on becoming popular on different mediums. TikTok is the only one the algorithm really pushed, and no, the TikTok's algorithm would not push it for their own people. So is this something that's been artificially put inside society because it's very, very divisive, and it's
by China?
Yeah, by China.
Yeah, like, I mean, I do, like, I'm on the fence on that one. Like, I'm always loath to be like it's a great big conspiracy.
You guys are being off color in the chat.
Are they?
Low self-esteem Barbie.
There was worse ones up there. I saw Methadone Clinic Barbie.
Baby
up there.
Mama Barbie. Oh, come on, Antifa Barbie.
It's got like a little. It's got like a little Molotov cocktail.
Be serious.
It's got like a little Molotov cocktail and a copy of the Communist Manifesto in the other hand. As it's throwing it towards some poor co-op in Seattle. That
I just know there have been like sexy Antifa Halloween costumes.
Oh my God!
What does that even
What
entail?
the hell? What the hell does slutty Antifa look like?
Or like slutty Proud Boy.
What? No. What the hell
Couples costume idea?
What the hell does slutty Antifa look like?
Star-crossed lovers, one Antifa member and one Proud Boy.
Is it like a black block sweater, but it's like it's unzipped most of the way?
You're gonna have to get creative there.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.